Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So I took a few days off from filming and doing videos just to have a break, because it's been quite a long time that I had a break from doing a daily video. Sometimes I might do two in one day, and so I have an extra 1 day break, but not a long break. So in order to have that long break, this video is actually filmed prior to the break. So tomorrow on Wednesday's video, I'll tell you a little bit about what I did on my break, because I still did work, but it was to just not have to do video stuff. But today we have some Scrappy Talk, Secret Lives of Color, we're number 54, and the Scavenger Hunt. Every month I give out a Scavenger Hunt topic, which is super fun, so that you share your picture over at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, or you can just leave a comment in reference to it at YouTube. Okay, so first though, let's look at these aqua squares. Doesn't that, oh, summer sea, oh, beautiful pool of water. Isn't that what that looks like? So a lot of the newer blocks I'm doing are all squares that you sent me, the aqua ones. So here's some, look, there's the shark. Remember the pouch I got with the shark? Here's some other squares. So I want to make this bed size, which means I need about double of what is here. I need this width again and that length again. And I have, you've been sending me loads, whoops, you've been sending me loads of aqua squares. So my basket of one corner is the cream colored ones, white ones, and there's all the aqua, and I still have more. I still have a stack, maybe that much again, which will be just perfect. So that's plenty of aqua squares to do this. So I really appreciate all of that. I'm keeping it here. This is see how I work. So I've got stuff on top, and actually down below here, I have the two stacks as I'm going along. I'm just sewing squares together. So that's going along swimmingly. So let's do the Secret Lives of Color. We are in the green section, and today is a favorite green. I'm just like, oh, emerald. Like, so it's emerald green. Now, emerald as a gem is pretty much what they're talking about here. Is the whole story is about the gem. It says, and also about green. Let me just read you the little opening, because this is kind of funny. It was Shakespeare who cemented the relationship between green and envy. With The Merchant of Venice, written in the late 1590s, holy cow, it's a long time ago, he gave us green-eyed jealousy in Othello. So that is where the green came from for jealousy. Most of the story is written about the gem emerald, and so I don't have any emeralds. I'm thinking I really need one. I should put that on my list of things I need. An emerald ring, I think. Okay, what did I pick? I have, and I think one of you sent me this. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure somebody sent me this. It is a K-facet, and they are, I believe, buttons. They look like buttons to me, right? Buttons with the thread in the middle. So what I did was use the medium-sized block. So I am in this green section sort of rotating. I'm not doing them in what looks like a logical order. Sometimes it really is going to depend on what the fabric is, as you know, to what I size block. So I'm not going to put a big print in the little tiny block. So I'm sort of adjusting like that. But here is mine, which I think looks fabulous. So happy to have that. Okay, so it's a nice chapter. There's also some large emerald that has got lots of controversy about it. People who said they bought it, and scams and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta go read up on that. I don't remember hearing anything about that. That's a crazy one. All right, I have my shark pillow in progress. So because I'm filming this prior to taking my break, I'm hoping that on the few days off that I get the pillow made. But it is basted. And yes, and I've picked thread color, which was what rolling across the floor a second ago. So let me show you the thread color that I'm going with. So I decided rather than do a dark navy, because if I do a dark navy, it'll be darker on the red and darker on the white. So I decided to do this medium, it's kind of a medium blue, and that way I actually can see it. It'll have some texture on the dark, and it blends in actually really well here, and then of course it'll show up on the white. And I'm just going to do the wave stitch on my Solaris, on my Baby Lock Solaris. Now when I made this pillow, I have a bag of scrap or small pieces of batting, and I went ahead and did a little clip to show you how I got the batting to put in here. So let's take a look. So I have a lot of batting pieces in this big tote that I did with my Bonnie Lane fabric. And so I got that from the other room, and I am going to Frankenstein together some batting for the shark pillow. We'll try to find the biggest piece that I can. Like so, okay, so that's pretty big. So that is, oh, success on the first one. So it's not quite long enough, so I will just cut it off for the width and then take whatever's left and make a strip and just overlay it at the bottom. I'll show you what I do over on the ironing board. I pulled the ironing board around here because the sunlight coming in that sliding glass window is pretty darn bright. So let's see. I just need to have some batting for this shark pillow, and it doesn't need to be super perfect. I'm not doing a big quilt, so I just pulled this one out as I showed you, and I want to have it as wide, you know, it's like it's longer at one end than the other. That's okay. I just need it as wide or a little bit wider than the, you know, a little bit wider than the width of the shark. Okay, so that's all going to get trimmed off. Now the shark, here, well, this is, I'm going to quilt it with backing. I mean, sometimes for pillows I will not do that, but I'm going to do it this time. For whatever reason, I just feel like it. So how are we going to do here? The top part, look at this. See how it's all slanty? See, like it's slanted lower up to higher? See, there's a slant on there. See, it's low up to high. So I think I will just put that part out over the edge. So now what I have is a straight. See, it's straight, it's pretty straight. And then the shark will come, whoops, the shark will come in like here. So I have plenty of backing. Don't get too close. So I'm gonna pull it down some. That's a little too close. I'm gonna pull it down some because I have plenty of this white. So I don't need to be too frugal on that top edge. Now I have to come down and see, well, how much do I need to fill in here? So I will just lay this across. Will it work? Yes, success. So I am just going to overlap it. That's all I'm going to do. This is not really thick or fluffy batting, so I'm just overlapping the two. So you can see there, here's the first one, and I'm just going to overlap the second piece, put the shark down, and then I will trim away all of this because I just don't want to deal with all that bulk while I'm trying to baste this. And I am going to go ahead and spray baste, so he will get spray basted. I have my basket of stuff that go in the bag over there. So I have got temporary adhesive. This is the one I use, 505. That works nice. Don't want to grab the starch by accident. And then I just will do a light spray, and then I will also, oops, I got a lot of batting dust on the front. That doesn't matter, Pat. Okay, I will do a little light spray, and then I will press it afterwards. And so I don't need much, and I will put the spray on the batting and under the top, and then I will flip the whole thing to the back and do the back. So to do this, I want to spray as much as I can, and just like this, and put him down here so he can go all the way to the edge. Then I will pull it to the front, and what I got there is so here's where this edge is at the top, so I don't want to be spraying past that. So just spray a little bit. I don't need tons of this stuff. So I'll press this side down, and then flip the whole thing, because I do want to adhere this to the back as well. So we will just do a little spray. I'm just going to do a wave stitch too, so really the basting part is not as critical. It's small and I'm not going to maneuver or handle it that much. So here on the back now you'll see that I just overlapped the battings, right? I don't have them basted any particular way. I just overlap them. And I will quilt through that. I will be sure that I quilt through here with one of the wave stitch, and that way it'll stay secure. Okay, so I'm ready to just do a little bit of pressing on him, and then he can be quilted. And I do that a lot, and I know that people have a lot of ways that they attach different battings to each other, but particularly for something small like this that is not going to get a lot of handling, I will just overlap them. Just overlap them a little bit and I'm good to go. And I do make sure that I quilt along that overlaps. The pleat, the fold is right here. This is where they're folded over. So I will quilt across here first, and then it's locked. And then from there I will space this way and then space up the top of the pillow. And that way I don't have to think about it anymore. It's that was the very first stitch I do, everything's locked down and I'm good to go. The scavenger hunt topic for August is show a picture of your cutting table. You can show a picture of it zoomed out, like in the room. You can show a picture like angled down at the table. Show a picture from up above. Hold your camera up above. Show a close-up, because that's the only area that's left that's visible of the table, because you've got so much stuff on it. So show your table. That will be super fun. Excited to see all of your cutting tables, your work surface. Your cutting table might be the kitchen counter. That's totally fine. Show it. We all can relate. All right, let's talk scrappiness. This past Friday, Kimberly Jolly and Lori Holt announced their Scrappiness is Happiness quilt along, and they had a live stream, and Lori probably had something on her video, and they asked me, the Fat Quarter Shop asked me if I would also sew along with them for the sampler. So they're doing a sampler from the new book, Scrappiness is Happiness. Lori puts together epic books. Oh my goodness, they are so full of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. It also is spiral bound, which is super nice. So it's a spiral bound book. You need the book to do this sew along. And here is a picture of the sampler. So it's taking, like I've been doing, blocks from the different quilts in the book and then placing them around the sampler. And it runs for quite a few weeks. I don't know if it's 20, 25 weeks, something like that. It's quite a long sew along. But each block is super cute. It's a fun way to try out the different quilts that are in here. If you have not seen their videos, let me just show you a little bit in here. I gotta put this over here because I got a Q&A next. Okay, so look here. Look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? All folded up. Lori tells you about how she does her scrap system. She likes all these bins. So there's things like, there's the bee. Oh my goodness. I love that bee. I don't know. Oh, it's just a block. So it's a lot of these. I was trying to remember how it goes. So there's a lot in here. There's just a lot of blocks. So the bees, there's mushrooms. I mean, who doesn't like a cute mushroom? So in the beginning here, you've got lots of single blocks, all the single blocks. Then sometimes there's pictures of them put together. Look at the Santa hats. Oh, aren't they cute? Aren't they cute? So there's string quilts. So you get, when you do the sampler, you're going to get to try all these things. There's a butterfly, so you can see it over here, butterfly block, just so many different things. Cute little house block, and that's really going to be fun. It's going to be super fun, and if you want to sew along with me and everybody else, I have all the links today at my website and down below here at YouTube. But you know, a lot of you I know just go to my website and get all of that. So the Scrappiness is Happiness. I believe they're looking at sometime late October to start this, and then it rolls into next year. It rolls into 2023. But each block, some of them are really tiny, like the little mushrooms, super tiny. So some weeks will be just a quick sew. I'm excited for that. Okay, so to change gears, we had a few Q&As that sort of were related to something I talked about the other day when I showed you taking 2 pieces of like sashing fabric and sewing them either straight across or sewing them on the diagonal. So there was a couple follow-up questions, so I thought today would be a good day to address those. One is from Beverly. She kind of had, is there more than one question? I don't know. Let me just read. So she wanted to know if I have wide borders. For wide borders, would I go, you know, straight across, or would I do the diagonal? And for wide borders, my first choice is not to piece it. My first choice for a wide border is to get length of fabric and use that. So I don't have to deal with the seam. If you can't do that, like you're just scrounging through your stash and you're using something you already own and you can't get any more, I say that you need to look at the fabric. The fabric's going to tell you which looks better. And you can just sort of mock it up. So mock it up by putting them this way and then mock it up with the diagonal. Okay, does she have another one? Okay, no, Mimi, the stripes, would it be, okay, when you do your striped or checked bindings for borders or any kind of insert borders, is there a trick to getting them to line up? Well, yes, there is. This is a good one because it is a lot easier to line. I mean, stripes are the easiest thing in the world to line up. Super easy. I'm going to show you. Other fabrics take a little more work. But let's take a look at the stripe. So I have a, 2 strips here. Let me just bring you down close. And if I want to sew them together, if I'm sewing them like just sticking them on the end and sewing anywhere, I'll just pretend that's the seam, you might end up with this where you see like the one stripe there is skinny. See, because I just didn't pay any attention. I just sewed it and didn't pay any attention. And so it's a little skinny spot in between there. A lot of people are like, I don't mind that, it's okay. And some of you would be like, I can't live with that. I would just be, go crazy. So it's really easy with a stripe. What you do is take your fabric and fold it. I'm going to fold it on the navy. Okay, so you fold it so it's at the edge of the navy. Okay, I'm just going to do a really good finger press on there with my nail. All right, whoops. So I did a really good finger press with my nail. Now, what I want to do is lay the navy on top of another navy. So it's laying on top. And can you even see where I did that? It's right here. But see, it's pretty much invisible when you lay it right on top. Stripes are the easiest thing to do. Now, you could take like a glue stick, and I could take the glue stick on here and just put a little bit so that it's easy and gets stuck on there when I go. So I want to be really frugal, so I come down here, lay that navy so it's mirrored like right on top of the bottom fabric's navy. And now when I lift this up, there is my finger press seam, and that's what I sew on. Sew right on there. All right, so if I were to do the diagonal, this and not pay any attention, then the diagonal, here's the straight, but the diagonal would look like this. This was just sewing them across and then opening it up, which is what most people would just find really annoying to have that. So this is the way to go, where you're going to line it up. Now, plaids and things are a little bit more tricky because to line them up, plaids, prints, whatever, you need to have cut them so that the repeats will be identical. And I did a video on that. You can just search it. But if I just took this and did the same folding method I did before, just fold it along an edge and then go along to where it looks really good. Like, okay, like it's really good there. It's kind of hard to see where that seam would be. But if I did a diagonal, it is a little bit more obvious, right? It's harder to kind of get that matched up. So if you're trying to match, the horizontal gives you a lot more control. All right. And I have one more question. We'll answer that one. And this is from Etta, who said that if you're measuring the borders, because remember I said to measure your borders so that, you know, you measure the center of the quilt, like, you know, like up here, I would measure the center if I was going to put a border on and it said, you know, 45.5 and the top said 45.5, then I would cut my border 45.5. But Etta said, what if there's a difference? What if it's one's 45.5, one is 45 3/4, or 46, or 46 1/8? You know, what if it's grown some? So she wondered how you handle that. So basically, the main thing you should do is figure out where your error is, because it's not going to get any better adding the border on. You know, so if you don't mind that your quilt would maybe come out like this, instead of being straight, it's going to be like that. If that doesn't bother you, then, you know, put the sizes on that it measures. But, you know, if you can ease in like a fourth, you can make that one sort of ease in, or you can maybe take up in the seams a little bit. But once you start getting to a half or more than a half, you pretty much need to figure out where your problem was, fix your problem so that they're, you know, only about a 1/4 of an inch difference. That you can deal with easing it in, because more than likely just pressing the other side will make it grow that 1/4 of an inch, giving it a good press, something like that. Okay, so those are my tips on in my Q&As for you know, your borders. So I hope that helps some. All right, I'm excited to show you the shark pillow done. I'll be getting that done. And if you are ready for some scrappy fun and love all these fun images, I hope you'll sew along with all of us. Lots of fun sew alongs. That one is not on the calendar yet, but it will be for the September calendar. So I'll have it on there then. Hopefully they'll have a date by then. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.